heart sing. You make everything wow thing.
Chuck Etchells, you're doing a good job, buddy. We're going to do it again here this afternoon.
Well, we love being here, the whole Kendall Super Winch Rug Doctor team. You know, the fans here are great, and it's a lot of fun for us. You know, we go to the national events all the time. We have to get beat up by John Force, and maybe we can come over here and get even a little bit. But it's a lot of fun, and we appreciate all of you coming out supporting London Motorsports Park.
Well, Chuck, you say you get beat up by John Force. Now, you've not exactly been a slouch the last little while. You've been running some big numbers.
Yeah, we have. You know, the car ran real good the last race and qualifying. Went 494, 308. You know, it's making a lot of power, and Kim keeps the clutch combination around, just trying to get something they can deal with that's a little more forgiving. And it's so difficult, you know, when you're running John and Cruz and Al and Hoover and Jeff Arend and all those guys. Every single one of them can beat you any time. I mean, Mark Oswald's took us out 3 times now, in first round twice and second round another time. And you know, they're just all so good, and the field is so competitive, it drives you crazy sometimes.
Yeah, it's a tough deal. We're looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun, buddy. Head on down track, and you can get back, get the fire suit on. We'll do it. There he is, Chuck Etchells. Give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. What a great, great deal that is. And look at this car coming up we got behind Chucky. Chuck Etchells. This is a neat car here, I'll tell you. How about a Cobra to get things going here? Tom Hoover. Well, Tom, this is your first trip up to Canada and London Motorsports, and how do you like it so far?
Well, I tell you, it's been a pleasure to bring a Pioneer team up here. Like Chuck says, we race like 20 national events every year. And when you take a weekend off and come here and see the young kids and the family, and what a nice country you got up here, and people are just pleasant to be with, and we're having a great time.
Well, it's nice to see you, and I'll tell you, Pioneer has got to be proud of you folks. You guys have done a great job. You represent the company so well. Beautiful, beautiful professional team, and doing a great job. We're looking forward to you this afternoon.
I hope we do all right. We've changed the clutch a little bit from yesterday, and the track looks good, and we'll give it our best shot against Chuck, see what happens here.
Good to see you. Tom Hoover, the beautiful Pioneer car driving in the Cobra. Give him a big hand as they head down track. They'll be back in just a couple of minutes in the Nitro Funny cars. Well, we get going. Another one of our Nitro burners is coming up. Now, this young fellow you see here on the back seat of this Chevrolet Corvette, yeah, you all know him if you're from London. This is our local guy, Jeffrey. We've got to talk on the microphone a few times, and we get to talk sometimes at night after the races are over, and you've kind of helped us out here the last few weeks getting this race ready. I guess this is what it all comes down to.
Yeah, it is. I'm having a great time back here. It's nice to race in front of everybody, and we're going to put on a good show today. I just told Forrest that he's behind us right now, and that's where he's going to be in the first round.
Well, that's kind of a shot. You're giving the Forrest an idea. How many of you folks would like to see Jeffrey bury Forrest in round 1? Well, the guy behind you, I'm sure, is going to have something to say about that, Jeff.
That's okay.
That's all you got to say?
May the best man win today.
All righty. Jeff Arend, he's going to be back just a couple of minutes. The local guy. Boy, lots of fans here voting for Jeff Arend. Paul Smith's entry. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Well, behind Jeffrey is the guy that needs no introduction. Yep, you all know who this guy is. Multi-time national and world champion winner, John Brute Force. And John, we had to put you in this car because of the flames. You knew this was the car. You had to have the flames on the side, all the goodies. Young guy kind of gave you a shot there in front, John. Said he's looking forward to you in round 1.
If it's him, it's Hoffman. What can I say?
You think he's got an attitude like Hoffman?
I think he's a great racer. He's got a lot of Canadians rooting for him, but there's a lot of Canadians rooting for us. And we're just going to have some fun today and show them how these old Pontiac Castrol Mac 2 hot rods will pound the ground out here.
Well, that sounds good. And I had to tell the folks that I had the pleasure last night of you taking me into your tour bus and having a quick look through it. And I got to tell you, John, that is one of the neatest things I've ever seen in my life, and you should be very proud, and your sponsors and companies as well. Quite an operation.
Well, I want you to know that we spend about 40 weeks a year on the road. So when I went to buy the best bus, I went to Canada and I bought a Prevost. So that ought to tell you something.
Yeah, that's quite a deal. It's made in Canada, that big bus, and you folks should all be proud of another Canadian product. Looking forward to a good afternoon. Going to be a lot of fun, John, and let's get at her.
Well, yeah, the Fletcher family, we've been coming up here for 3 years, and it's like a picnic. And I brought my girl up here, a couple of my girls up this year, and we're having a lot of fun. The fans are great, but I was out there, we were cooking, the Popas were cooking bacon and eggs this morning, and we'll have hamburgers and beer tonight. But we're going to take this old hot rod and make a laugh. We just want to tell the fans we do the best we can to win, but we really do love it up in Canada, and we really do appreciate you.
What a guy! Heading down track, John Brute Force. Well, give him a big hand as he heads out in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. He's about ready to wrap up another World Championship again. Unbelievable. And to sing the national anthems, Kevin Pauls is going to bring us into racing action. For the 96 season here at London Motorsports, the Castrol, Mac Tools, Can-Am Nationals are about to begin.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing. All right, all the preliminaries are out of the way and fired up in the staging lanes. Ladies and gentlemen, here come the nitro cars. This is Tom Hoover and the Pioneer Electronics. Wow, Etchells and the Kendall GT1 car would like nothing more than to take the championship here at the Castrol Can-Am Nationals. It's a great pre-race festivity. Nice to have all the people participating. Don't forget, you can pick up those tickets for the draw 50-50 during the day, and you'll have some time after this first round of the pro category cars. Behind them, it's going to be the Canadian star, Jeff Arend, and he will take on John Force. Hoover and the Pioneer, Art of Entertainment, Minnesota-based race car, has had a little problem so far this year. Not only getting down the racetrack, but keeping that body on the car. Chuck Etchells, the Kendall GT1 car, has so far had a magnificent season. Although compared to what John Force has done, everybody else is a distant, and I mean a distant, second place. So they lift the bodies up, check the fuel systems, activate the clutch mechanism, lower the bodies, lock the drivers in, and send them up to the starting line area. It'll be the Kendall GT1 Rug Doctor Winnebago machine against Tom Hoover, the Pioneer, the Art of Entertainment, Petron Plus, Dodge Avenger. First pair on the starting line. They're ready. They're set. Chuck Etchells goes on through with a 5:52. 263 miles an hour. Tom Hoover gave him a run out of the starting gate. You saw some smoke coming out of the pipes. He had some problems down there at about half track. Clicks it down, goes 8:42, 93 miles an hour. So Chuck Etchells at 5:52, 263 miles an hour, gets the win. And you can look at the tire marks down there. He was spinning those tires the entire quarter mile. So the Kendall GT1 car out of Winnebago and the Rug Doctor gets the win, and he will run for the championship with the Kendall car here at the Castrol GTX Can-Am Nationals. Ladies and gentlemen, your five-time NHRA Winston Drag Racing champion, soon to be six, John Force. Here comes the Canadian kid out of Paul Smith's drag racing school. On the far lane, here's Jeffy. Nice run out of the water area for Jeff Arend as he gets set, a sensational young driver with this blue race car. Paul Smith, who turned 50 yesterday, directing the team back, telling him right there, you can see that's Paul in the blue and white shirt, telling him to move that car right back to the starting line area. Put it right in those tracks. If Force stumbles for even a minute right here, Jeff Arend, the Canadian car, can take him out here in round number one. And John Force knows it. He was kidding down there in the pre-race, talking about, oh, this kid, and he's saying that, and you heard what Jeff said. We'd love to get down to that quarter-mile mark first. Paul Smith runs a drag racing school down in Boynton Beach, Florida, has tutored some of the real up-and-coming stars in the fuel category. And one of the more meticulous crews in all of motorsports, the Castrol GTX team, goes under the canopy of that Castrol GTX, Mac Tools, Pontiac Firebird, and on the far side with the old Cutlass body, Jeff Arend, Paul Smith. Paul telling his boys, put the body down. Let's bring that puppy to the starting line and let him have it. John Medlin tells Force, you're right there on the starting line. Paul Smith will do likewise on the far side with his driver. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner gets to run Chuck Etchells in the finals later on this afternoon. Will it be Jeff Arend or the champion, John Force? Look at this, Jeff Arend on the far side out in front. Here comes Force. Oh, my. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian car with a brand new track record and the win over John Force. 5:28, 283 for Paul Smith and Jeff Arend, and they will run for the championship against Chuck Etchells as Force goes 5:47, 244 miles an hour. I told you that kid can flat out drive a race car, and he did a magnificent job. Hazed the tires a bit, got on the brake, goes on down. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going down to get the Canadian champ. Give him a nice round of applause. That kid just punched out John Force. Oh, and if you don't think those guys are happy, how about that? And I'm going to tell you, point of fact, it doesn't make any difference if it's a time trial, a match race, the finals at the Nationals. Anytime you can take out John Force, you've really accomplished something. Boy, now he found out that it's going to cost him T-shirt sales. I'm telling you, the direct sales are directly proportionate to how well your car runs and how many rounds you stay in eliminations. Old Force, I'll tell you what a great asset to the sport of NHRA Championship drag racing he is. Well, that was not exactly the way to do a burnout. They pitched a blower belt right down here in the staging lanes. The ultimate team, Todd, Tony, Barry Payton came out of the gate, and that blower belt snaked right off it and underneath the race car. And I guess if you have to look at any kind of a silver lining, at least it did it down here. Throwing a blower belt is not usually life-threatening, but it can wind up taking a lot of parts with it if you do it further down the racetrack. You've heard the old adage that about the weakest link. Well, the blower belt, normally the weakest link in one of these race cars. They're going to have to back that race car up into the build-up area, and it'll be the Mad Mechanics race car. Let's see what Adam can do. The Ford Probe bodied machine as they roll it up to the starting line area. So it'll be a free ride over here for the Aviation Unlimited machine, the Mad Mechanics entry. And let's see what kind of numbers Adam can put down. He will get the win right here in this first round matchup with Todd Payton. And even though Payton's car broke on the starting line, hey, they all look like line drives in the box score. And straighten that puppy out at the top end, and he threw a blower belt. Look, we lost one down here, we lost one down there. Shows you how powerful these cars are, folks. You can see where the blower belt is sitting on the racetrack. Obviously, it came out before that, and he still winds up running 156 miles an hour without the blower belt on the race car. That shows you what kind of power those race cars have on him as he coasted on through at a 6.82. At only 100, I shouldn't say only, with no blower belt on there. The blower belt comes off in those race cars, means the engine's not making any power, and it can't produce any speed. And still he ran 156. Now, let me tell you, that car was running 172 miles an hour at the 8th mile. That's an excellent run for one of those cars. Then pitch the blower belt out, and all you can do at that point is sit down and hang on.
Well, here's a perfect example, Bob, of what we were talking about of different cars. Tower side, the rear engine dragster, Scott Wildgust, a supercharged small block Chevrolet here on the Tower side, and in the other lane, our last Skoal Pro Comp Eliminator winner, Jeff Chatterson, small block Ford Power with carburetors in the export side.
Going to back up these two race cars now. You can see a different approach. The car here on the right side is a supercharged entry, and it's the carbureted car over there on the far side of the quarter mile. It's a qualifier. You'll see them dial in their indexes. The handicaps will be on the scoreboard, and you would expect that the normally aspirated, that is a carbureted burning machine, should get the head start on the far side over that supercharged entry. And that indeed, as you look at them, it's a 774 to a 775. So how about that? The supercharged car actually gets a 1/100th of a second head start over the carbureted machine. So they'll move them up and stage the two race cars, and it'll be virtually a dead even start as they come out of the starting gate. So the first two in this eliminator bracket in the Pro Comp category, it's the blown wages out of Allied Signal Automotive on the 75 dial against Jeff Chatterson. Last time, the winner right here. The advantage, because they're so evenly matched, obviously will be to the car that gets out of the starting gate first. Oh, and a red light start. Scott, you can see him putting his hand up going, what was I thinking of? As he heads on down the track, almost looked like he thought he was going to get a one yellow light, but he goes through with an 8:01. And the winner on the far side, Jeff Chatterson, at 8:11. So we give you that whole rundown of how the things are going to happen, and Scott takes off on virtually the first yellow light. If you get that red light start, you're automatically disqualified. Well, there are a couple of things that could happen that would change that down track. Somebody could cross the center line or do something nasty down at the far end of the track. But for all intents and purposes, most times, if you get a red light start,
that race is over. Ron Anderson owns the race car. The boys, with their 794 dial, get about half a light advantage off the starting line from Larry Kilpatrick. Great move out of the gate for Kevin Wick. He swerves a little bit at half track, and the killer on that 770 dial goes on through and runs it out at 781, 163 miles an hour. So the boys, with their Dodge car, Dodge powered machine, had some problems, and it's basically an easy ride at 163 for the killer, who's having a pretty good time of it today. The Atchison family moving their funny car into place. They'll be running in the Pro Comp category here this weekend, and the long wheelbase dragster. So the next pair setting up, this is a 740 dial. Coming up, one of the top 4 qualifiers here will be on the near side. All right, into the water area they come. Another carbureted machine. There's a couple of 4-barrel carburetors. And ready to challenge the Atchison family and their steel-motored flip-top funny car. Well, he never did get the tires spinning, not the way that he wanted to. You expect to get a lot of smoke. Puts a lot more rubber down on the racetrack. They'll back it up to the starting line areas. He went way down there. Wondering if indeed John Force got started like that. So the Pro Comp cars out of Lucky's Performance. Robert Spaziani. Car's up for sale, by the way. Car and a truck and trailer. Most of these guys, a lot of them building new race cars. The Atchison family backing it up. Gorgeous machine. Unique in that it's got a steel motor. So it's not a lightweight car. It's got to be in the 2,700 pound category, despite the fact that it's a flip-top automobile. Fiberglass body style, painted like a 95 Oldsmobile Cutlass. Another 4-wheel auto care. Atchison machine service. It's a 740 dial-in for both cars. So this will be a heads-up run. You still can't run quicker than the 740 index. Both cars with the same dial-in, so the lights will tick down together. Premium here on reaction time. Get it out of the starting gate. You could be a winner. They're ready. They're set. Oh, my. Start on the far side of the quarter mile. The Atchison family funny car just strolling down Broadway at the top end, goes 772. Unusual, we have seen 2 very flagrant red light starts here in the first 3 pairs of cars. The killing time machine against your low qualifier. Oh, baby, 55 Chevrolet. Really turning them loose down there in the staging lanes, trying to advance into the next round, and this will be an interesting matchup. The luck of the draw in drag racing, 2 of them go down, 1 comes back, and as the case is right here, one of the higher regarded cars is going to bow out right here in the opening round. Very tough first round draw for both these cars. That 55 Chevrolet, by the way, is up for sale. Lock, stock, and barrel. They're building a brand new chop top lowrider as Brad Matheson coming to the starting line. He's got Jim McCann, the number 1 qualifier in this 16-car field. The way they're laddered, number 1 runs number 9. 2 against 10, and so on down the line. So it'll be McCann on the far lane, Matheson to the near lane. Oh, and another red light. The 55 Chevy did exactly what he did in the final time run last night. Little double hit on the starting line. Oh, my. Look at the time for the dragster. Best time of the class for the weekend. 6:94, 190 miles an hour. 9:72 for Brad, but he got the red light start. Guy's going to be back and in good shape for the finals?
Oh, yeah, we'll be back in the finals.
Ought to be great. A chance to take out another oil car. You beat the host, by the way, the sponsors. Not nice to beat the sponsors' car, you know, here.
Well, I know some of them, so I hope they let me off. I'll have to put the big nose and glasses on later on so they can't get me.
It ought to be a great final round. Congratulations to Jeff and Paul Smith and the family for taking out the champ. That was cool.
Thanks, guys.
That was really nice. Here comes Ricky Carlos in this wheel standing 6-second streetcar. Yeah-huh. If you saw a dragster on the starting line and you saw a 1970 Camaro, you got to figure, well, Camaro gets the head start. Dragster's going to try to catch him. Well, that would be incorrect. As they come to the line, the dragster on a 767 index. Actually, I'm sorry, the Ricky Carlos is going to get a slight head start on the far side of the racetrack. So a very slight advantage to Ricky Carlos. It'll virtually be almost a dead even run, not the big head start you would expect to see on the far side. 773 against a 767. 0.06 of a second. They're off. Carlos, wire-to-wire job gets the win. 781, 177 miles an hour. And for the Niagara Falls runner, Chuck Nagy, and the dragster, a great effort. 769, 0.02 of a second off the dial-in. Advantage out of the gate went to Ricky Carlos, and that Chevrolet's into round number 2. Oh, I got my own. How about that? Got my name on it and everything. This is so cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We will we'll share that. Well, we'll share a little bit of it. Oh, it's chocolate. This is so cool. This is nice. Wow, we got a few more tickets left to sell in the 50-50. It's almost $1,000 in the pot from the ladies that draw. So the 50-50. Cool, gonna keep selling them, trying to get that over $1,000 in the 50-50. Means we got at least $500 going to the winner here today. Boy, the ladies from draw just do a really superb job. I guess asking for a fork could be a little pushy, huh? This cake is a finger food. All right, it's Shannon Price and Ron Schilling. Ron over there on the far side with that unique wing on the back of the race car. Shannon, in the interest of fair reporting, they've had a little bit of problem this weekend running the race car. Still managed to qualify the car very well to 769. Index is dialed in. Shannon's going to give Ron about a 0.4 of a second spot out of the gate. Boy, the ladies from draw just doing a great job here. $1,000 in the pot means it'll be a $500 split for somebody. Maybe me. That'd be cool. Get a cake, get a plaque, and win the drawing. Cool. And Shannon fouls out. This is unbelievable. 4 of the cars here in this opening round, not only fouling out, but doing so badly. That is very strange. 779, the far lane for Ron. 777, I'm sorry.
Well, here's a couple of good cars. Richard Roosevelt in the export side out of Brantford, Ontario. And Tower side, this is a good car. This is the first time out for this car with this driver, Diego Goubert, doing the driving. This is a Jerry Bickle Pro Stocker that's here on the Tower side. Not a big motor, about a 500-incher for Diego. He just bought the car over the winter, and he's out here in Pro Comp Preliminary doing a good job. His first event in this brand new car.
It's another run where you're going to get a handicap of just 100th of a second. So we had a green light start on this one for both cars. It would be a good run down the quarter mile because the advantage is just 100th of a second going to Diego here in the near side. You won't even know that that's in the Christmas tree.
Don't forget as well the souvenir booths open in the main pit area and on the spectator side as well. You can stop by and pick up some London Motorsports wearing apparel. They have great looking event shirts. I don't know if there's any left or not. We had to check earlier. There was a few left. You want to stop by and pick one up and get it autographed before you leave today.
There you go. A couple of good green light starts, and they were almost dead even out of the box. They're on the far lane. Watch that baby fly. Export lane, the dragster out in front. Hello. 86. 47 the speed, and he was cruising at the top end. 812. The dragster on the far lane is like cruising up in through the staging lanes like a streetcar. Look at that, a second yellow light. Red light stars. Unbelievable. On that 780 index, well, it's academic down there. He's playing with house money in the far lane. 750 on the 46 dial-in. 174 the speed. 863 Steve McCluskey left way early on that second yellow light. And that is highly unusual here in this category. There's at least 4 drivers that have fouled flagrantly. Well, the bike riders back there in the staging lanes getting set to go.
Boy, Chris with a shootout early, still goes 694. Man, that car's got some power. 157 off the throttle. He was going 167 miles an hour at the 8th mile marker, so you got to tell something about how fast that car is. Chevrolet Camaro, what a monster this one is. Set the track record at 6.66 seconds, if you can believe it. And here's Casey Jansen on the tower side of KC Auto Parts, the Chevrolet Beretta, 526 cubic inches of supercharged Chevrolet here on the tower side. Mike Janis, how about 705 cubic inches of pro stock Chevrolet in the export side for Mike Janis. Jerry Highway brings him back to the starting line. 2 different opinions on how to go fast. It is nitrous in the export side and the supercharged car here on the tower side. Heads Up Racing through the top end of the racetrack. This category, if you're the fastest, you're the winner. Casey Jansen, tower side, was qualified in the number 8 position. Export side, Mike Janis. Number 1 qualifier here in Pro Modified Action ran 666. 204. Mike Janis a little bit loose, kind of popping in the headers, but he looks like he's out front, drives it through the other end. 697 at 188 miles an hour. Casey Jansen trying to catch him at 758, but just couldn't quite do it at 150. I don't think there's any doubt Mike Janis burned up some pistons there. You see them little pops in the headers as them nitrous cars head down track, and that'll usually give you a good indication they're burning up some pistons. They don't really care about that. They'll fix it and bring it back for the next round. He went 446 at 158 at the 8th mile, which is probably a tad light on the mile an hour. Pretty good ET, though, at the 8th mile marker, so he wasn't hurting too bad there. Just seemed to lose a bit of power as he got through the top end of the racetrack. 632 inches of Pontiac out of the Toronto area. Carl Spearing got a little wound up on the burnout, just about clipped the London Motorsports sign out there. Boy, that'd be something. We just had that sign put out there this morning. Aaron's car in the export side. It has Al Billis at the controls here in the export side. Tower side will be Gerald Anderson. Now, Gerald Anderson got in the 90 Oldsmobile as a first alternate. This is a very good car. Jerry Haas built car here on the Tower side. Al Billis qualified in the number 5 spot, 695 to a 723 here on the Tower side in their qualifying sessions. So definitely an advantage ET-wise going to Al Billis. See if he can hang on there for a win here in round number 1, Pro Modified. They're in and staged up. Away goes Al Billis. He's out in front of Gerald Anderson. Anderson trying to catch him. Looks like it's going to be Al Billis through the top end. 703, 197 miles an hour to advance into the next round of Pro Modified competition. Tower side, Gerald Anderson, good try. Excellent run. 719 at 190. Bob Fry is going to come back and do these bikes, Bob, and I know you, of all things, enjoy these motorcycles, Bob Fry, and they are something else. It's hard to imagine bikes can go like these ones do.
On the far lane is the turbocharged machine. Got Bill Hunt products in it, the Sam Wills chassis. It's got Star Racing heads on it. It's got the best of everything. Trying to get the bike sorted out, and just a spectacular race vehicle this is. They'll move them up to the starting line. These things need a lot of RPMs to get them out of the gate. Running with those turbochargers, and if you know anything about the turbo systems, you can't afford to let those puppies lag a little bit coming out of the starting gate. Long wheelbase machine on the far side of the racetrack, the Castrol GTX, a relatively modest, short wheelbase for Mark Barr. Oh, baby, they're on a good run in the far lane. Watch the scoreboard in the export lane. He's got a very good run going and hits the stripe at 746. Had to correct down there about 3/4 of the way down track. Jeff Pollard goes 746, 158 miles an hour. And how about Mark Bard goes 795, also 158 miles per hour. As Pollard's bike finally came back down, you know, you got to aim those things. Be very careful with what you do with them when it finally comes back down to the ground. But a great job over there on the far side. And on the near side, one of the best guys in the business, this is Mike Konopacki. Mike, the number 1 guy in the Pro Star, Top Gas, and Pro ET. It is an 8-second shooter. The ZX-10 machine, about 1,400 cc's, 10-inch tire. It's got a chrome moly chassis just like the Pro Stock bikes. And when it comes to guys that can ride these motorcycles, there really aren't too many that do it better than Mike Konopacki. In this heads-up run, the advantage will go to the bike in the far lane. Steve Dawson has got a little bit too much power, I think, on the side-by-side run. But you watch Konopacki give him a shot. See that? Out of the gate for Konopacki. Dawson's going to give it the boost at the top end. Ooh, trying to straighten and stay on his side of the racetrack. Runs it through at 745. Look at that speed. 186 miles an hour. 811 for Konopacki, and that is a sensational ride for Mike. 156 miles per hour. How about that for the motorcycles? And we're not done yet. On nitromethane, the supercharged entry rolls to the starting line. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Butters, Canadian's fastest, looking for the first ever 6-second run here in Canada. Gets the bike into high gear, leaning to keep it upright, drives towards the top end of the quarter mile and goes through at 743. Winningest car on the NHRA Drag Racing Tour this year against one of the few guys that has beaten them all year, and that is Chuck Etchells. Chuck down in Columbus, Ohio. In the second round took out John Force. In the semifinals took out Tony Pedregon. Then he beat Mark Oswald to win the whole shooting match. So they are running now. Chuck Etchells and John Force behind him. It'll be Tom Hoover going off against Jeff Arend. Interesting to watch the car in the far lane and see what kind of number he can put down. Wait for his crew members to come out and direct him back on the far side of the quarter mile. Horses so entertaining for the team members that even the staff at the track comes out and takes pictures when he's out there. So the Kendall GT1, Rug Doctor, Winnebago, Dodge Avenger against John Force and the Castrol, Mac Tools. Pontiac Firebird. Can Force get the win? Can Etchells go out of here unbeaten for the weekend? Can John Force get the track record back? We're going to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, the Castrol Can-Am Nationals here at London Motorsports presents Chuck Etchells and John Force. Force throws a supercharger right out of the starting gate, and look at that Chuck Etchells. Etchells right on down Broadway, 548, 273 miles an hour. Force came off the starting line and busted a blower right out of the starting gate as his team goes on down. And John just now getting to the quarter mile mark. How about that? Chuck Etchells took just the right amount of power to get down the racetrack at 548, 273.34 miles per hour. Here's Tommy, the pioneer art of entertainment. Petron Plus, Dodge Avenger. And Jeff Ferrand and Paul Smith's drag racing school. We said there could be as many as 3 of the blue cars out there at Indianapolis this year. Paul's getting a brand new top fuel car manufactured. He will have that out at Indianapolis. They'll have a new fuel car, and they will update this race car. No telling who's going to drive one or all of them. Jeff Ferrand also rumored to be a possible driver for a big-time drag racing team that also may make its debut out at Indianapolis in the U.S. Nationals come Labor Day weekend. Not a bad way to throw your hat in the ring here for a driving assignment. You can come out, lower the track record, punch out the Winston champ, and see what they can do. The interesting part about this, Dan, we were talking about the racetrack out there, and usually when you think of a track that doesn't have a lot of fuel cars on it, the racetrack has not been a problem.
No, the racetrack hasn't been a problem at all. This track's been great. These guys are getting a handle on it. We may see, we do have a new track record already. Jeff Ferrand, the car on the export side, Paul Smith's Fuel Driving School, the youngster out of Toronto, Ontario, the new track record holder. He'll be in the export side as the bodies flip up, the teams flip up the body tower side on the Pioneer car. They'll reset the clutch, give the driver a little air, and get ready for the action here at the Castrol Can-Am Nationals.
Dave Lindsay, the crew chief, moves Tom Hoover's Showtime car to the starting line, a magnificent race car, the Dodge Avenger body. Both these cars, the best of everything. You've got your track champion, track record holder on the far lane. He would love to go out of here 2 for 2 here on this magnificent Sunday here at the Can-Am Nationals. Ladies and gentlemen, final fuel cars on the starting line. Here comes Tom Hoover and Jeff Ferrand, the final 2 fuel cars here at the Castrol GTX Can-Am Nationals. They're on the line. The tires a little bit. Look at Tom Hoover like a top fueler of old. Jeff Ferrand goes down at 549. 273, a magnificent job of driving. Struck the tires a little bit, pulls on the brake, drives out of it. Tom Hoover looked like one of those old front-engine top fuel cars we were talking about earlier in the day. 623, and I'll tell you what, you got to give Tom Hoover a lot of credit. He could have shut that thing off right out of the starting gate, Dan, but he stayed right with it. The Canadian champ, Jeff Ferrand. Jeff gets the nod at 549, 273 miles per hour. And Tom Hoover, what a job of driving.
Wow, thing.
Throws a supercharger right out of the starting gate.
You make my heart sing.